loved aphorisms. I was trying to, it's not written here, but I was trying to think of the one on the fridge. It starts with something, one of the more frivolous, goes something like, "What a wonderful bird the frog are." And it goes on from there. They love that, but they also love the more serious ones. They were and still are pinned to the fridge and slipped in books and spread about their house. Both my mom and my dad read voraciously, and I think those aphorisms were a reminder for them of the more important things in life, or sometimes the more simple things in life, or the frivolous. And of course, the more simple and frivolous are, in the end, far more important than jobs and mortgages and bank balances. As many people in this room can attest, my mother loved a controversy. I can hear from the ripple there that people know directly what I'm talking about. She took on issues with gusto. And she's passed that on to some of us, for sure. And only a few years ago, a local environmental issue inspired her to go door to door in Tweed to explain exactly what was being done in the community. She took it on herself. It was no group. She just went and did it. But she also took her spirituality seriously. And she had some of her favorites in this realm were what I might call religious renegades. And she took these people on in an attempt to deepen her own beliefs. And when she went out to engage with people on these fronts, she again undertook to research passages being studied and was not afraid to take unpopular stances in these areas. She was like that her whole life. She was blunt. She would tell you exactly what she thought. And yet, beyond all that, was a constant. She worked to be kind all of her life in what she did and what she said. And, of course, like all of us with good intentions, she didn't always succeed, but she took her task, and that task particularly, with seriousness. In the last months of her life, I spent a lot of time with her, and she took on the task of dying with the same diligence. The problem here for her was that it was a tough one to research. It required a new approach and the ditching, perhaps, of much of the research tendencies she had. And she said at one point, I'm open to change. This was only about a month ago. So a mom that can say that after 92 years and counting is her mind was ticking right to the end. But one of the things I want to end this bit off was her creed of kindness. A few weeks before she died, she was ruminating with my sister and me on whether her life had been worthwhile. And we collectively discussed that, and we came to the conclusion that it was a resounding success on all fronts. Then she told us words were hard for her at this time, so she was saying things in aphorisms. And she told us that, above all, people needed to be kind. There was not enough kindness in the world, she thought, and she felt a big dose of kindness in all of us might help solve both some of our personal problems and some of the more global ones. It was a simple message, and for my sister and I think a profound one, and one I know I will keep in my heart and try to remember at those times when I don't feel very kind. And I want to try to match her fearlessness in facing tough issues, but no matter how ugly the going gets, I want to always remember the kindness my mother advocated. As I said, in the last few weeks she found the dying process difficult, but through it all she found a sense of humor and a kindness for those who were looking after her. She never failed to say to all these people how grateful she was for their own. And perhaps a way to reciprocate that is to thank those who were kind to her. I'm inevitably going to forget a few people here, but and I will think of that later and think, oh, I should have put this in. But here is an incomplete list in the last few years of her life of people I'd like to say and thank for being kind. And when I group people, you people will know who you are. First of all, I'd like to thank Lana and Pat, who were with her at the end. Your kindness is incredible. And as healthcare professionals, you went way beyond Call of Duty. I also would like to thank the Heart of Hastings. Heart of Hastings and Doris is a group I'm embarrassed to say I didn't know much about before this happened. And after it happened, I know a fair bit about it, and I hope all of us have a look at what they do. They do wonderful things. My mother was eternally grateful for their kindness. And then I want to thank all of the neighbors around, Gloria and Paul, Waveney and Gary, Vicky and Chris, who kept an eye on my mom, and others. And that was a great kindness. And then generally all my mom's friends, her church friends, other friends, who responded with sympathy, support, and my own friends in this last week who responded with sympathy, support, and I thank you very much, those of you who know who you are, who supplied food. That was great. A basket of food at my front door. Wow. I think we should keep that tradition. And so overall, to my family, who have been very supportive in all this, we have each other. To all of you, thank you for your kindness. If Mom lives on in our hearts, I know she would want to see it manifested in the kindness we show each other. So I'm going to say the short two-word eulogy that my mom would approve of, and that is simply, be kind.